to Bitcoin Podcast. The only one that's making your money is you. Listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. So hold on and listen to the Bitcoin Podcast.
And we're back with another one of the Bitcoin podcast interviews. Yeah, so it's been a few weeks, right, Jesse, since we had an interview drop.
Yeah, I think it's been maybe two
It's
weeks.
been a little while,
Mhm.
and it's good to get back into the mix with the interviews. So without further ado, we're going to welcome Mr. Josh Katz, the founder of YellowHeart. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, we gotta do the run of the mill crypto interview stuff. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you've done a lot by now, but here, let me see if I can give my best shot. So, what were you doing before crypto, and how did you fall down the rabbit hole? And we got to do that stuff. It's like par for the course. It's just like saying like and subscribe.
Sure. No one actually cares. Can I just make something up?
You can go for it.
I was driving for the last 20 years. I drove a New York City Yellow Cab, and when Uber came about, I got into crypto. That was it.
Nice, man.
So that was it. I cruised the city.
Nice pivot.
And did my thing. And crypto was so addictive, I never looked back.
Nice pivot. I feel like that was actually true, though. That's what I feel like.
It is in a metaphoric sense. I absolutely cruised New York City for 20 plus years in every single nook and cranny, looking just for the next thing. And at the end of the day, maybe we found it.
Nice. So let's give some actual background. So you started in the music industry.
I did. A passion for music. From childhood onward. I'm a guitar player and music fanatic, major fish head, deadhead into above and beyond. And, really, music is just my, everything that I live for. And, I had a company before YellowHeart called EL Media. And what EL Media did was we supplied custom background music, like elevator music. So before EL Media, there was a company called Muzak. And Muzak, if you know what that is, it's basically remakes of pop songs and other, various songs that play as literal elevator music. And it's literally the worst music you could think of. So my state of disruption in that space came when I basically started putting good music into restaurants and hotel lobbies and casinos and pools and stores and places like that. And I built up a business doing that from 2004 on. Prior to that, I had been in the traditional music business as you go back a little further. But really, my entrepreneurial stuff happened when I left the music business and started EL Media. And that company was just a journey for over a decade where we ended up becoming a very large subscription music provider to people like Tao and Nobu and Four Seasons and all the biggest brands in hospitality. And then also, we would work with these same brands and we'd really design and then install and then maintain their speaker systems, their security systems, some cases, we got involved with POS and other technologies, but, really as it pertained to music. So that company grew to a decent size. And then actually in 2016, I sold that company. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I had already been into crypto. And, once I kind of got deeper down the rabbit hole into blockchain, that was it. I knew that anything and everything I ever did going forward would be in a decentralized manner, and there was no other alternatives. So I went looking for something that suited me and my particular skill set, my, previous life of being involved in music and hospitality and nightlife and food and beverage, and looked where blockchain could really fit. And this was back in 2016. So where it fit at the time was clearly in music rights and really where music will be going at this point. But at the time, there was definitely resistance to any type of transparency in the music business. But another place that was very much the Wild West still was the ticketing space. So I geared YellowHeart really at solving the problem for ticket scalping, which, in 19 before COVID was 11.5 billion a year in the US, between concerts, sports, and theater, pulled out of fans' hands and not given to the artists, the teams. That goes to this third party like industry that we call scalpers, ticket scalpers, or they call themselves ticket brokers, or and it was the space that, as a music fan, a sports fan, I'm like, okay, why does it cost me $600 to take my kid to a Yankee game? Like, what's up with that? Why does it cost me $500 to take my wife to a concert? That's wrong. The tickets are like 120 each. Like, what's up with that? It's literally double marked up. And I realized that there was just this rampant middleman population, this rent-seeking middleman that just was sapping the fans, not helping the guys on stage in most cases. And I saw the use case, and the blockchain 1.0 use case just made sense for application to eliminate, fraud and counterfeiting and bad actors, and just keep transparency in an industry that's run wrought with lack of transparency and lack of any type of fundamental ethics, quite frankly, an industry that's just gone off the rails. So I thought it could reel it back in, and, here we are. So I'm going to stop there.
So why can you kind of go into like the small details about that third party leech? I mean, it's essentially a leech, right? And I've never been scalped before, but like how does it work, and just how did you see that YellowHeart can like stop that shit from happening?
So the way it works is what's called bots. And when you look at a company like Ticketmaster, they have very old technology, and basically all bots are computers that run faster than their computers. So what they do is they do what's called bot attacks, where they will go in and they will just attack it on sale. And what they will do is they will move tickets into a waiting room for checkout and never check out. And as they're getting ready to be redeployed, they'll pick them up, and they'll just continue the process, in some cases for days, making it impossible for fans to actually buy tickets. So if you ever go to an on sale for your favorite band through Ticketmaster, like, you already know you're not getting tickets. They'll push you right to their own secondary, because what happened is they were getting so beat up. And what happens is the brokers send in these bots, and then they buy the best seats in the house and then a potpourri of other tickets, and they send them immediately to the secondary market. Once they go to the secondary market, they see what starts selling, and then they keep the bot game going on the on sale. And then the fan who wants the Metallica ticket, the Fish ticket, whatever it is, immediately is like, oh shit, it's sold out. And they go to the secondary, and now you're there. And in some cases, I've heard from bands like Metallica, it's gone on for days. I've heard from other people, shorter periods. But Ticketmaster has not done much to combat it. So when you dig in deeper, you start looking at like, okay, well, maybe there are other things going on there. And the onion just kind of keeps getting unpeeled.
So they just buy up all the supply, or lock up all the supply, and then send it to their market where they can control.
In some cases, it's bots. In some cases, it's the back door. It just really is a potpourri of inconsistency in most cases going on, and wheeling and dealing. And it's a little bit like the Wild West, and no regulation. And the irony of it is that the actual content owner, the artist, the performer, the team owner, whoever it might be, they're generally out of the equation at that point. The ticketing company might have pre-established a relationship, and now they're out wheeling and dealing, yet they're making the team or the artist look horrible to their fans who want to just get a freaking seat and see their favorite artist, and it's next to impossible.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can see like that dynamic exists in a lot of different things. Like, for instance, I'm into like keyboards in particular, and it's just like the shoe game where there are bots and they'll buy up supply and it's limited, and you go straight to secondary market and it's 2 to 3x times the original value. So
in this case, think about this. So like in your shoes or your keyboards, they're maybe in the shoes, it's a 5,000 drop, 10,000 drop. On an on sale for a concert, it could be 18,000, whatever the number is. Those tickets didn't actually sell out. The bots are just not letting them get bought because they're going into perpetual checkout, beating up Ticketmaster for hours at a time. So, and then when the action settles down, it lets go. So then the band is stuck with inventory unsold. The fans think it's sold out. It's not. And things just get weird. And then what Ticketmaster does is reaction is they're like, oh, StubHub's listing those for $250, even though we only sold them for $100, so we'll just sell them for $250. So you go in to buy a comparable seat, they scan all the other secondaries and see what they're selling for, and then they'll try to basically sell you a whatever they want to call it. I mean, I don't know what they even call it at this point, at that same price. And that's kind of what's going on. But there's no transparency for the fan is the problem. And the reality is that the consumers at this point are not stupid. People know what they're getting into. And when you're dealing with the arts and an artist and a fan, like if you're a fan of somebody, don't you want to be treated right? Don't you want to be acknowledged? Don't you want to be part of a community?
That's where NFTs come in, I'd imagine. If you got the NFT, you've got it's tied to your address, you're a bona fide fan, then they just issue the ticket straight to your wall, and you get a fair price.
And it doesn't end with tickets. It is basically the entire community building. So that's what, a major focus of what YellowHeart's doing right now is working with artists, building true communities and communities where we understand the fans and there's a true symbiotic relationship with no friction between artist and fan. Because that's all the artists want and it's all the fans want. And things just got way too polluted the last 2 decades.
So how does the NFT, what are like the steps in which like introducing an NFT to selling tickets for a certain artist prohibit or inhibit the ability for that spam attack to Ticketmaster?
So essentially what we're doing is we're issuing a token on a public chain and someone's claiming ownership into a wallet. So if you think about it, if that token then sits in that wallet, there could be a redeemable fraction, which is a barcode that comes up and it enters you for redemption, and then you still own the token. So all we're basically doing is issuing tokens where some are redeemable and some are not. They're redeemable for that show. It could be multiple shows. It could be redeemable for multiple things over multiple time and then resellable. So, we're getting into all of this experimentation right now around using the technology. And that's something that we've really been trying to push at YellowHeart is projects that innovate use of blockchain technology. And it's something that, it's hard to get through the clutter because you have a lot of people that are just kind of running at this trying to make money, and it's completely the wrong approach and an approach that we just don't support at all, actually. We're looking at it from an innovative standpoint where all we want to do is push innovation here and try different models, try different projects that use the technology to push the music, the transparent model for artists and fans forward in different models. So, for instance, we just launched a DAO with Maroon 5, which is the use of, that type of technology. Wow. Yeah, with Maroon 5, and this is an example like where we just want to push these boundaries, and that's kind of what we think needs to happen, because what's going to happen before we realize what the standards are is we're going to have to play around a little bit. And that's kind of where we are right now. I mean, you got to remember, like nobody knew what this stuff was until like 3 months ago.
Yeah, so, NFT wise, yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, it came out in what, 2017?
Yeah, in 2017, the NFT token.
So my question
is,
like,
launched. Yep.
That the specifics are like, do you guys have like a cooldown timer on the ability to resell the NFT that say for like a, I don't know, Madonna concert ticket or something?
No. Anything we mint, if it's on, whatever chain it's on, it's free to go.
So I guess what's preventing like a secondary market from developing?
No, we hope one does. We want them to. We want fair trade, but we want transparency. So when you go to buy, you could go in and see the ledger on YellowHeart and see where the pricing has been.
But won't you get like the tickets, like they'll still go up in price, right? From retail?
It will, but it will be a true supply and demand driven marketplace, not a highly manipulated marketplace.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're just removing the fake
the manipulation.
Selling, I see.
Yeah.
There's still going to be manipulation. But
well, it will be a different kind. But
right.
You'll know who the manipulators are. It'll be clear who they are. Because we all know that, like, everyone thinks they're anonymous on a blockchain, but they're not.
And you're not.
So, let's call it what it is. It's only a matter of time before your hexadecimal has your name attached to it and your social security number. So, like, at the end of the day, your ID is not safe. Walk down any city in the world, you're getting hit by 50 cameras every 12 feet. So, like, Do
you guys have, you have to jump through some like KYC AML hoops in order to get an address to receive the NFT, or can I just spin like infinite addresses and I can just keep generating new identities?
No, we do need that. So, and it really depends on the type of NFT. You know, it's a lot of the stuff we've been doing has been promotional. A lot of it's collectible. So, you know, we're in an interesting space right now.
Okay.
I can
You know,
really tell that you're from New York, by the way. I went,
Yeah, why?
I went
Tell me-
recently, and just because you're straight to the point, you're like, let's get real here. You're not anonymous. Like, let's just stop playing that game. Like,
It's a nice dream to have every night, you know. But come on.
yeah. There's some chains that are anonymous, but I think that society. See, the thing is, I think most of the people that build in this space dramatically underestimate the human element. And the human element, society is naturally gonna like put the decipher the red ants from the black ants, right? They're gonna say, okay, you use that super anonymous blockchain. Well, I'm not sending you any of my money because that's fucking weird. Like that's just what people are gonna do. We can't stop that natural human behavior. Like, oh, you only deal in $100 bills and giant piles of cash. That's weird. I'm just gonna go buy my couch over there. Just like that's what people do. And so it's just funny that people live under this guise that like blockchain's gonna stay hyper anonymous. It's gonna be pseudonymous forever. So
Yeah. Listen, we love it. So listen, as I said, we're just trying to do projects that innovate. We're trying to push the boundaries of this technology and find the norms, which will come out in time. And we're really trying to help the music business, and we think that the artists deserve it. They deserve to monetize. They deserve to really, sell direct to their fans, and they deserve to keep all of the money. They've been getting, the reverse of it for way too long. And every artist I speak to, it's the exact same story. It's like a broken record.
So I'd like to dive a little bit deeper into two things. The first thing is, how was it like shepherding that Kings of Leon NFT sale? What was that experience like? And then the second thing is going to be Maroon 5 and Dow aren't two things I'd ever heard in the same sentence until today, right now. So I need to understand what Adam Levine is up to.
Yeah, I'll tell you. We'll tell you. All right. So Kings was, Kings of Leon was epic. I mean, it was just an awesome drop in so many senses of it because, listen, I'll just tell you, I circulated the music business since the beginning of COVID, going to every artist saying, let me put out your NFT. Let me put out your NFT. Let me put out your NFT. And I was talking to everybody last summer and running around and explaining what they were. And I prepared this deck that a lot of people saw. That was me. It's like 6 pages that we called NFT 101. And it was like, this is what an NFT is. And I'd like play like a Mad Dog Jones, like NFT. And it's just like, and I went and I literally like showed this thing over Zoom like last spring and summer to like everybody. And people were like, why would I need to do that? I don't get it. Like, it was just kind of like crazy. And finally, like Kings of Leon's manager, Andy Mendelson, who's a brilliant guy, caught it. And he was like, he had already been very into our ticketing platform, and had wanted to use that before COVID. And as I spoke to him, he just got it, like straight up, where a lot of people, including people very close to the company, like who should have been using it, weren't. He understood. He was like, this is dope. This will be sick. Do you think I could do it with Kings? And I was like, hell yeah, let's go. So he brought in the most creative people around this company night after night. They're amazing. And they had been collaborating with the Kings of Leon for 13 years as artistic graphic collaborators, with their logos and their tour posters and album covers and T-shirts and everything. So the whole team was there. The new album was there. The band's working on new music. They're all synced up creatively. Like it was all like right there, like the ball was ready to dunk almost. And we just brought it out. And when we brought it out, it was just, the type of thing where Andy and I were literally play-by-playing this for weeks and weeks ahead. And when we got up to the beginning of March, things had been frenzying in the NFT space. Think about it, like through February, things were just like fire. And, we put it out and the industry caught caught it, and it kind of just went, and it really made a watershed moment because people realized that this technology was the real deal, and it could actually foster in tremendous innovation and fix a lot of problems that have been broken for content creators. Everything we've all known, everything we've all been preaching inside of the blockchain universe, but the mainstream never understood. So what I had thought about long and hard last year was I need to show the world a use case. Because if I don't show them a significant use case, they'll never understand it, because this stuff's hard to understand to most people, right? So when we showed the use case, we were able to get over 5,000 people to come buy their first NFT ever, like in that week, So the use case was cool. And anyway, it went on to be, pretty awesome. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, took notice of it being the first NFT album and first NFT ticket of all time, and inducted them and put them up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where they are now, which is just like unbelievable. Andy and I were just like, oh my God, like, how did this happen? This is like, just a dream that we were like, throwing around, like, what he considered, I guess, my kind of crazy ideas I was throwing at him last summer, but we did it. And like, we know coming from our world that it made sense, but I think a lot of that had to do with timing. So is that kind of what we wanted to talk about on Kings? Because
I just wanted the backstory of it. Just
that was the backstory. Yeah. And it came out and it blasted off, and just like everything about it really went right. The packages were right. And I'll tell you, the coolest part of this drop has been the community. The fans of Kings of Leon are amazing. And from like every level of it, where the people that bought the tokens or the albums have just been so cool to interact with, that we've given them free tracks. We offered them all really good seats for the markets a few weeks ago, where in fact, actually, we got the link from Ticketmaster, and they actually gave us not great seats, which I apologize to the fans for. Not cool, but that was not our fault. It was Ticketmaster's. But once again, there you go. So like, at the end of the day, that's been a really cool thing. So it's community building, and the band has been extremely happy with the fact that this community evolved. And we're going to continue with it. We'll continue, and the Kings really get it now. They see the power of it, and the reality is that there was over 2 million generated on the sale just on the primary market. Since this initial sale, there's been secondary sales as well, where all of the albums are numbered. So the number one $50 album sold for 10 ETH about a month ago, a little over a month ago. So yeah, and that will continue to happen, of course. So it's it's a really cool dynamic, and it's super young space. So we'll see. But the Kings were definitely like an unbelievable drop, and something that we were so happy we could just prove this case and show the world that NFTs and music are very real.
I think it's gonna be real powerful. Jesse, I didn't interrupt you, did I?
No, I have like detailed questions about like the steps involved. Like that's where my questions are gonna kind of come from.
All right, let me get into this Adam Levine shit first.
Yeah, you ask your generic ones.
I need one before we go too deep into it. I'd like to ask you, Josh, that like, why did he not do anything with songs about Jane? What's going on there? Like, he dropped songs about Jane, and it just took the world by storm. And it's just been like, I just feel like he needs to reconnect.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell him exactly what you just said as soon as we're done.
I hope that you do.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick up my phone. Why wouldn't I? Exactly.
Tell him that album, I think it's his apex. I think it's the very, very best album that Maroon 5's ever done. I've listened to it probably 550 times, easy, at least according to Spotify, and that was before Spotify came out.
It's just one of the greatest albums of all time. It really is such a classic. When it came out, I was a huge fan at that time too. It's an incredible album, and it's actually, just so you know, it is coming up on the 20th anniversary of it.
It is.
Yes.
So yeah, audience, if you didn't know, I am a huge Maroon 5 fan. Don't lose your shit. Jesse, why do you laugh? What's so funny? Like, I can't just be honest with my
you should be. You should be. Let me tell you, these NFTs we're doing. So we have 3 NFTs up for sale right now at YellowHeart.io. And the NFTs are dope. They're super dope. And they actually are bundles of the band that open up into 6 NFTs. So for the purchase of one, they actually unbundle into 6. There's sketches of each band member, including Adam. There's floral designs of each band member, and there's also a surprise NFT that's so dope that you get if you buy both bundles as a bonus. And yeah, if you're a Maroon 5 fan, these things are dope. And we all know that in the future, this is the valuable merch. This is the authentic stuff. This is from the source. This is what it's going to be, in the same way you show up with whatever piece of memorabilia or incredible sports or concert stuff you might have now in physical format. So
I could just see so many awesome things. Like, imagine in a world where you show up with your wallet and they scan it and they see how many different NFTs you have. So it gives you exclusive access to certain shirts, exclusive access to certain things at the concert. Like,
you get really, it, dude.
Like, NFTs are going to be massive. But the only thing is that if you're in the NFT market right now and you're teaching yourself these things, how they work, know the subtleties of the tech, which I'm pretty sure Jesse's about to ask, and also know that it's not a hyper liquid market in the sense that, like comic books, like every once in a while, comic books markets just go through the roof. Everybody's like, you know what? I'm in Spider-Man this year. I'm going to go see how much that Spider-Man costs.
You're so right. NFTs are going to ebb and flow. There's no doubt about it. And, here's the thing, when you look at Maroon 5 in particular, I'll just tell you that there are NFTs for sale right now through Friday. And then there's also the DAO, and the DAO is a completely different instrument. The DAO is going to go in 3 phases. Right now, it's in what's called the seed phase, where you put 25 in and you get a token. Next, it's going to go to the next phase, and then it's going to go to what's called the living phase. And the living phase, the next phase is the sprout phase, and then from the sprout, it's going to go to the living on September 1st. The living phase of this will be a living flower that blossoms and wilts based on the carbon index. And when there's more carbon in the environment, the flower is going to wilt. When there's less, it will blossom. And that will represent membership in the DAO. And as a member of the DAO, you will have one equal vote on environmental charities that Maroon 5 and eventually the community will bring to the DAO community to fund. And it will go through the Maroon 5 fan base, and hopefully I'll expand over time, where we'll be able to help environmental and social impact and other important charitable organizations. So the whole meaning behind the Maroon 5 DAO is really to unite the community to help others and help the environment. And that was the message and why they did it with us.
Nice. I'm going to pass it to you, Jess.
So
what do you think?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm getting nervous. What's up?
No.
Like I'm about to get hit or something.
No. There's always
you got a reputation now.
I got feeling that it's not even that. Just the vibe coming through the screen.
Oh my god, no! Like I'm just gonna ask you questions about like feasibility, like in terms of So for instance, there's a cost for people to attack Ticketmaster, right? There's a cost that it's costing the people who are spamming Ticketmaster, right? They're literally spending their own money in hopes that they'll drive up ticket sales so that they'll be able to make a buck in the future, right?
Well, they're buying inventory and stopping others from obtaining it at the same time.
Right. So there's like an inherent risk to what they're doing.
There is a risk, absolutely, but there's more to it.
Yeah.
That might cross lines I don't want to get into right now, but
okay.
And I'll just refer to it as the back door.
Okay. So my question is like the NFT stuff. What a lot of people don't think about is the posterity of that information that's stored costs something, and being able to guarantee, it'll be there for forever is something that not a lot of people who mint NFTs think about, right? Whenever they're using, I don't know, like there's this one platform I'm looking at using called Pinata, and I don't know what their data rates are for however much use the NFTs I mint will have, but I guess what I'm getting at is there's always going to be like a cost that is inherent to using NFTs that is always going to be kind of bleeding the system as a whole. How do you maintain it so that the value kind of appreciates more than it depreciates with all of the costs of all of the infrastructure to put everything together?
Wow. All right. I take everything back. That was an incredible question. So this is what I think. I think it's about quality control. And if you notice, a YellowHeart, we haven't put that many drops out. And we've turned away 99.9% of them that we could have put out. And the reason is that we don't want to burn energy. We don't want to harm the environment, even though we're on, Matic, so we're layer 2. But like at the end of the day, you have to be careful with what you're doing with this technology. You can't be, running around like with, just minting like for no reason. You need to mint responsibly. And if you're going to mint responsibly, then you'll put out content that will have longevity and meaning. If you just throw crap out because you can, then it's going to be a race to the bottom.
Mm-hmm. That kind of answers my question. But another question, kind of like a different edge. So like NFTs have value, will have more value as you can, kind of interact with them. As it currently stands, the way that most people interact with NFTs are through like a browser or like some sort of web app, right? Where they can kind of see like a 2D image of it kind of spinning around. It's a 3D model potentially with some music. But basically it's limited to the computer screen. Now, you probably know there are different metaverses out there, right? Where you can kind of port over your NFT representation. Now, I'm curious if it's been thought about in terms of like, for instance, you said you were building on Matic. If say fans want to participate in like, let's say Decentraland, but let's say the mana cost goes up and gas costs go up such that they can't port over their NFTs and they can't really enjoy them. Have you guys like thought about like potential solutions to that stuff?
Yeah, I would really defer more to that over to some other people on our team. But yes, we're always thinking about things like that. It's actually all we think about, unfortunately. Yeah. It's something that we're obsessed with. And we actually, when we were originally designing YellowHeart, and this was like back in 2018,
yeah,
the approach we had taken was that, and you have to remember what things were like back then. In 2018, EOS and Ethereum were like the same thing, if you could think about that, right? So put that in perspective. So when we were thinking about this, then we didn't believe that there would maybe be one major winner, or we thought different blockchains would be good for different things. At the time, private blockchains were also a thing, and obviously they have their place today too. But we always designed everything to be interoperable, where we could potentially work across multiple chains. So that's just kind of the approach that I took to it, saying, okay, you know what, Polkadot looks amazing. Let's make sure we have an integration there. And when they have projects that are actually, commercially, viable and things are really moving in that environment, and as it goes, which is happening as we speak, that environment is exploding. And, huge fan of Polkadot, think that it's just amazing. And like, that's an environment we'll want to play in, but we'll also want to be on Ethereum. And, we're running on layer 2 until, proof of stake and like all of these things, and just kind of going with where the territory is going right now, and kind of just trying to be part of the community and be part of what's going on.
Do you have any ideas on like, this is like also kind of like personal kind of asking you a question. Do you guys have any ideas of how you're going to bridge NFT assets like across different chains? Like how we wrap ETH or wrap Bitcoin?
Yeah, we do. It's stuff that, frankly is just, internal right now. I'm just not going to talk about it on the podcast, but I will tell you, we absolutely do.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are some of the most, I guess, creative things that you see coming down the pipeline as to how these artists are using the power of the NFT? Like, the sky's the limit, literally, quite literally. Like, what are some of the most unique schemes? Because it's what it is. It's a scheme, and I don't mean scheme in a very, I know there's negative connotations to the word scheme, but when I think of scheme, I think of like, I don't know, a diagram of a watch or something.
Like a schema. You mean schematic?
Like schematic, right? Schema. Maybe I say schema, but like, what, I guess, models. What are some of the most unique models that you see?
So, we're seeing various stuff. Most of the ideation actually comes from the YellowHeart team. We've seen a lot of artists coming in who want to be involved. Some have great ideas. Maroon 5 had a great idea. The DAO idea was theirs, not ours. We were able to execute it, but they understood enough. Jessie from Maroon 5. And at the end of the day, they're coming in saying, I want to be in this game, teach us. And what we're doing is we're looking at long tail engagements where we're saying, okay, this is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And we're going to teach you how to monetize your fan base right now. But we're not going to try to like blow it out on day one. We're going to teach the fan base because, I look back to a time where there was file sharing at the time and then download and then streaming adoption in the music business, right? And the industry didn't say, let's teach the fans how to use this and pay for it. They shut it down and it didn't work. And Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, all these companies were born, Netflix, okay? And the Hollywood studios and the content owners in the music business didn't own distribution where they could have, right? If they would have went with it. So I see it where at the end of the day, YellowHeart is going to pioneer, and it's already happening, where we're teaching music fans how to buy music again, and we're teaching artists how to sell music again. And the most likely thing to happen is whoever owns that content will want to own that distribution. I would be remiss if I allowed YellowHeart to become a centralized company where we were controlling the means of the money to the artist. I think it has to remain decentralized and eventually become completely autonomous. And that's the only way this is going to work correctly for an artistic community who deserves transparency and to keep the money for their works in perpetuity.
It's cool that you committed to this long to the thing people don't understand about crypto, and this for anyone new listening, is that it's an endless abyss of information and an endless abyss of innovation. Right. So if you find something you really like, cling on to it and really become an epicenter of knowledge for it, because eventually, if the mechanics work well enough, it'll start paying in dividends. And I'm sure that YellowHeart has had a very fantastic 2021 with all of the amazing projects that are coming your way. And shit, what did you say that NFT sold for? The Kings of Leon one?
So we did we minted 6,500 roughly Kings of Leon albums. It was over a 2-week period. They were $50 each, and they came with redeemable exclusive limited edition vinyl. So the number one $50 album sold for 10 ETH. I believe it was in early May. Yeah. And it wouldn't surprise me if it traded again. Interestingly enough, is somebody staked how much was it? It was like 150K at the time. I don't remember where the ETH price was. Someone staked 150K for number one the week after the sale closed, and nobody took it. So it was in a contract. Yeah. So it's interesting. The number 7 album, I believe, went for 11. I went for 1,500, and then it went for 11,000 shortly after the sale closed also. And they're numbered, and it's cool because they're limited edition numbered, and they're going to live in perpetuity. Now the collection's been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's there now. So think about that as an owner. Plus, I can tell you now, the Kings of Leon token holders, and as that community grows, they're going to be rewarded. We're going to continue working with the band. We have meetings weekly with Kings of Leon's management about what can we do for token holders? What can we do for token holders? Literally, it's like an obsessive thing we have at YellowHeart around everyone we're working with Zoo and with, particularly the Kings, now Maroon 5. It's like, what could we do for the people buying tokens? We want to give them more. Once they buy it, we want to just keep feeding them more cool stuff and access and just things, for doing this with us.
You have to obsess over it, though. It's almost like you have to, because 1,000 ideas, you get 1-2 good ideas in there, and you're selling one damn NFT for 10 ETH. So
it's crazy. Want to hear something crazy? Yeah. So check this out. So for XXXTentacion, who we minted over 29,000 NFTs over the 5-day sale period. Now the vast majority of them were free. And a lot of them were these 24-hour moments. So we did these NFT moments of X live that went for 24-hour periods. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory because I think it makes this even better so you understand this. So if you look at X, okay, X opened for Kendrick Lamar. He obviously did his own shows as he was coming up. But once he got really big, he did one tour. And the tour was, he could have been selling out arenas, and he played gymnasiums. And it was in the South in July. and the gymnasium sizes were like 2,000, and he could have been selling 12,000, and people were not getting in, and the shows were insane. And then in the middle of the tour, he was murdered. So essentially, nobody ever saw him live, and he's one of the most prolific performers of all time. And like, plus, when they went out on tour, there was no film crew, no video, nothing. So the only video of him live that existed was off of his close knit circle cell phones. So we took the video of him live and we made these moments, and it was off of the cell phones of the people closest to him. And the moments are incredible, and we gave them away for free for 24-hour periods. If you go on OpenSea right now, they're listed for like $1,000.
The power of the NFT. Anyway.
Now, guys, I don't know. It's so early in the game. I don't know if those will ever sell for that much, or maybe they'll sell for more. I just don't know. And, as we roll out this world here, let's see what happens. I think we're all kind of steering the ship right now, and we need to step up and support the great content and understand that we're changing the arts, and that it's a community driven thing where everybody who's part of this decentralized world, and if you're in the arts, you need to commit to the decentralized artistic world, and using companies like YellowHeart and other amazing companies like Audius and other, like, there's all these cool decentralized companies, because you're going to end up owning your copyright, making more money, and having just like a much better career as a creator.
I don't even want to say anything. I just want to leave that right there.
Okay.
We wind down the interview. I mean, I'm gonna say something. Obviously, I can't shut up. I have a podcast, but I think it's like I really do think that what we've stumbled upon is a unique time where not just the artist gets to benefit monetarily from their talent, right? A fan can benefit from just being a fan, which is, nobody gave a shit that I was a Maroon 5 fan until I get these NFTs, baby, and then they'll give it.
Dude. Anyone who gets in this DAO, I am telling you now, I know already, you're getting insider info here. You're going to get hooked the F up. I'm telling you now. DAO people in the Maroon 5 DAO, like, think about it. Like, do you think Maroon 5, if you're in their DAO and we're coming to your town, like, you don't think you're going to get tickets? You don't think, like, I'm not making any guarantees, by the way, on their behalf. I just want to be clear about that. But like, at the end of the day, think about it. Like, we're community building here, and we're community building over doing good and doing right and helping people that need help. People are hurting now, and I know the band recognizes it, and YellowHeart recognizes it. And like, we're very into giving back and helping people that need help right now, because that's what it's really all about.
All right.
You should join it, D, and let me know what you get.
Hey, if I can get a songs about Jane NFT, I swear I'll buy it yesterday. Let them know. So Jesse has a trademark question. I've got a trademark question. And then we'll let you have a good evening, or if you are in the States.
Yeah, I am.
All right, cool.
All right,
NYC. I just want to put a shout out that NYC is absolutely rocking right now, and back and better than before almost, because there's outdoor dining everywhere, less traffic. Place is just fire right now. It's awesome.
Dang.
You got to go to New York, Jesse, if you've never been.
I've never been.
Yeah. It's you gotta go. Like, I thought it was all mythology too, and I went like 2 months ago now, and I was like, yeah, this place is cool. This place is really cool.
It is, and frankly, it's almost like COVID like washed it out. It's kind of crazy. It's really even better now.
Interesting.
Go for it, Jeff.
Here's the first question: is what you do actually difficult or hard? Is however you want to?
No. I mean, for me or
for you?
No,
for you.
I just live, eat, breathe. I dream about what I do at night. It's just inherent to what I'm doing every day. I'm just doing what I love.
Bam.
I love your nonchalant hyper focus. I know you have to have nonchalant hyper focus, because that's like the perfect description of someone who's like, man, this elevator music sucks balls. Like, it can be better. Like, we've got to do something about this. Like, everybody else in the elevator is like, I just gotta get to the 17th floor.
Honestly, I'm sitting in a restaurant.
5 seconds.
Yeah, you go to you go to restaurants. You don't just like eat and leave. You're like having cocktails. You're hanging out. And you're like,
This music is ass.
It's like horror, and you know everyone. At the same time, everyone you know is suddenly a DJ, right? So it's like, you know,
nonchalant, hyper focus. My question is a question we've been asking for years now, and that is, in 10 words or less, can you describe an NFT?
non-fungible token. No, I'm kidding.
Get out!
Yeah.
Get out!
Freedom.
Wow. Okay, that's the second time that answer has been used. The first time it was used, it was for Bitcoin. This one's specifically for NFTs, so I like it. Well, Josh, thank you very much for swinging by the show this evening. I'm glad that, you know, in the sea of information there is about all things crypto these days, you kind of keep, you know, the blinders on and like, look, I just want to be the best at NFTs. I want to continue to innovate different projects with different people and see what we can build with this technology. So, you know, hats off to you, and congratulations on what's probably been an amazing year. I'm only assuming from lots of things, but you know, congrats and thanks for coming by.
Guys, such a pleasure. I just want to tell you I'm a big fan, and it's really an honor to be here. So thank you.
Oh,
Damn.
you're making me blush. You're making me blush.
Josh, wait. Stick around after we end the podcast.